Hello everyone, myself Himanshi. I am Assistant Professor of Psychology and I welcome you all at this GURUKPO channel. So today we are going to talk about learning. हम सब जानते हैं लर्निंग क्या है, बट when I talk about it in psychological term, learning is a relatively permanent change in behavior or skills resulting from experience. ऐसे बदलाव, ऐसी चीज़ें जो हमारे साथ शायद कभी लाइफ लॉन्ग भी रहती है, it is relatively permanent because we also unlearn what we have already learned. जो चीज़ें हम सीख चुके होते हैं, हम चाहें तो उन्हें भूल भी सकते हैं. That is why it is a relatively permanent change. Okay, so today we are gonna talk about Edward Lee Thorndike. थॉर्नडाइक की लर्निंग की थ्योरी के बारे में जब हम बात करते हैं तो इट इज़ नोन एज ट्रायल एंड एरर लर्निंग. बाय द टर्म ट्रायल एंड एरर वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट व्हाट इज़ ट्रायल एंड एरर. वी रिपीटेडली ट्राई समथिंग. हम कुछ चीज़ों पे बार बार कोशिश करते हैं कि हम उसके सोल्यूशन तक जा पाएँ. तो अकॉर्डिंग टू थॉर्नडाइक लर्निंग एक ऐसी चीज़ है जो हम पहली बार में नहीं सीख पाते. वी नीड repeated things in order to know what the actual solution is of a problem. And because of this trial and error learning, we try to strengthen our stimulus and response bond. When we talk about stimulus and response, stimulus is anything which is capable of bringing out any response from ourselves, from an individual. Okay, so when we talk about Edward's learning theory, हम ये सीखते हैं कि हम continuously try करते हैं, then we come up with a solution. We try n number of things and then we try to eliminate those solutions which are not, those problems, those solutions which are not helping us to reach to what we want, to the answer of the problem we want. Okay, so Thorndike explained this using a cat experiment. In cat experiment, what happened was there was a cat, it was placed in a puzzle box, a cage kind of a box which had bars. And there was this food palette जो cat के एकदम सामने रखा हुआ था. The cat could easily see the food palette in front of her. So now the cat was hungry and angry at the same time. So the task for the cat was to come out from that cage. Now what happened was the cat tried very random responses. For example, scratching, biting the bar of the puzzle box, but she was unable to get out of that box. And suddenly there was this lever placed and then she pressed that lever. The moment the cat pressed that lever, the door opened. जो puzzle box का जो door था वो open हो जाता है और cat बाहर आके वो food खा लेती है. तो she get reward, she gets satisfaction while she eats that food. Now Thorndike again kept the cat in that puzzle box. वापस से उसने रखा. ऐसे काफ़ी सारे trials उन्होंने किए. And then he came up with the result that while with the increasing number of trials the error got decreased. तो जितने ज़्यादा trial हमने किए उतना कम time लगा cat को lever press करने में and in order to get that food. So according to Thorndike what happens is the stimulus was the food and the response was that pressing the lever and getting out and उस food को खाना. So there are three laws which Thorndike talk about in his theory of learning: law of exercise, law of effect and law of readiness. What is law of exercise? जब हम repeatedly किसी चीज़ का trial and error करते हैं तो हम उसे सीख जाते हैं and हमारा stimulus और response strengthen हो जाता है. For example, now we know the moment we press the lever, we'll get the food. So pressing the lever and getting the food got strengthened cat ka when she got n number of trials, when she learned what was actually happening. So exercise is when we continuously practice something, the error gets decreases. And the second law was law of effect. Law of effect, what law of effect says to us that whenever we get reward out of something, we tend to do that thing more. जब भी हमें किसी चीज़ से reward मिलता है वो चीज़ हम ज़्यादा करने की कोशिश करते हैं. And whenever we get punishment out of doing anything as a consequences of doing or showing any of the behavior, we tend to decrease that behavior and we don't show it. Okay, so law of effect says if we get the reward then we'll show more of that behavior, but if we get punished for the same behavior we'll not show that. The last law is law of readiness. In order to learn anything, a person needs to be ready, whether it is mentally, फिज़िकली और इमोशनली। अगर आप मेंटली, फिज़िकली, इमोशनली रेडी नहीं हैं किसी भी चीज़ के लिए, तो आप उसको सीख नहीं पाएंगे। आई थिंक वी ऑल नो दिस, वी नीड टू बी रेडी इन ऑर्डर टू लर्न एनी थिंग फॉर दैट मैटर। बट द मेजर लॉ आउट ऑफ these three was the law of exercise. That is, when we repeatedly do something, we learn the response and then we show it. This is what learning is according to Edward Lee Thorndike. According to him, learning is a trial and error process which results in the strengthening of stimulus and response bond, which you could see here. These are the three laws which we just talked about, strengthening of SR bond, and it was shown through the experiment, cat experiment, in which the cat, as explained earlier, cat को puzzle box में रखा गया था, and after n number of trials, the cat was mistakenly was able to press the lever, and then she learned this. Then she knew that in order to get out from that cage, it is the lever which needs to be pressed in order to get that food pallet, in order for her to get through the food pallet. That is it for today. So it was the Edward Lee Thorndike learning. He has been a very influential, he has played a very influential role in the modern behaviorist theory, and he was the first person to talk about learning and to tell that learning is a trial and error process. Thank you.